Welcome to this week's Minisode of Even in the Small Things. Here, we'll explore one intentional action or practice to help ground the themes from our last episode into your daily rhythm. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. For today's Minisode, we'll be doing a practice called Choose Again. It's based on a core principle of A Course in Miracles, which tells us every decision you make stems from what you think you are and represents the value that you put on yourself. This teaching is based in the belief that we're constantly choosing between two perspectives, fear/ego, rooted in separation, worry, judgment, resistance, or love, God and spirit, which is rooted in unity, oneness, abundance, and forgiveness. Since our choices and our actions reflect how we see ourselves and ultimately how we see God, this practice helps us learn how to make a better choice anytime we forget our identity as God's children. It teaches us how to shift from fear, doubt, and separation into love, trust, and connection, and it ultimately helps us realign with our divine identity. Here's a 3-step process for practicing Choose Again. Step 1. Recognize the fearful thought. Notice when you're feeling disconnected, anxious, worrisome, angry, or even doubtful. Ask yourself, what am I believing right now? Is it rooted in fear, or is it rooted in love? Next, for step 2, we want to release the thought. Acknowledge that the fearful thought is an illusion created by the ego. It's not real, and it doesn't reflect the truth of God's love or your own divine identity. Then we say a prayer or affirmation to release it. I surrender this thought to God. I no longer need it. Finally, step 3, we choose again. Consciously replace the fearful thought with one rooted in love and in truth. Ask the Holy Spirit or your inner guidance for a new perception. Help me see this thought. Help me see this emotion through the eyes of love. Now, let's put it all together and apply it to embracing your identity as God's child. Step 1. Let's say you're doubting God's timing because a prayer hasn't been answered yet. The fear-based thought might sound something like, what if this doesn't happen for me when I need it to? What if it isn't in God's will to do this for me now? Recognizing that thought is the first step to transforming it. Without judgment, acknowledge it for what it is, a lie from the ego that seeks to separate you from the truth of God's love. Step 2. Once you've recognized the worrisome thought, use a simple prayer or affirmation to release it. God, I release this fear that I'm going to be in this situation longer than I think I can handle. I trust that you're preparing what is best for me. Releasing the thought creates space for God's truth to take root in your heart and mind. It's an act of surrender, trusting that God will replace fear or worry with peace and assurance. Last but not least, step 3. Here is where we choose again. Consciously choose a thought that reflects God's role as your parent and your divine identity as God's child. Replace, what if this doesn't happen for me in time, with, I trust God's timing, and I know He is working all things together for my good. Putting it all together now, recognize, I'm feeling anxious because I doubt God's timing. I'm afraid He might have forgotten me, or I'm going to be left in this situation longer than I could bear. Release. God, I release this fear. I trust you are working on my behalf, even when I can't see it. Choose again. I am God's child, His plans for me are good, and His timing is perfect. I trust in His love and His provision. You see, each time we choose again, we're healing the false belief that we're separate from God. And instead, we're reconnecting with the truth of who we are and whose we are. By regularly practicing these 3 steps, recognizing, releasing, and choosing again, we can shift away from fear and fully embrace our divine identity. Thanks for spending this mindful moment with me. Remember, it's the small intentional steps that carry us closer to the divine in daily life. See you soon for another episode of Even in the Small Things.